Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., all rights reserved.
Jim Blasingame, he's the cyber king of small business. Search Google for small business expert, and he's tops on the list.
I guess that makes you number one.
He's number one on Google and number one in our hearts.
Aww.
He's Jim Blasingame, the small business advocate.
We're back. It's 34 after the hour. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. My pleasure, as always, to continue to be with you, and especially when I get a chance to reintroduce you to one of the smartest people I know. Connie Certusi is back with us, ladies and gentlemen. Connie is a great member of our Brain Trust, Senior VP and General Manager of Small Business Accounting Solutions at Sage North America. You know, they're the Peachtree folks, and we're one of their happy customers. And she's here with some information, a new poll that they conducted for small businesses, and to ask them what they thought about President Obama's proposals in his last State of the Union speech. Connie Certusi, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you back, Connie. It's good to talk to you. The Sage Small Business Sentiment Study, right?
That's right.
You conducted it last month on the heels of the president's State of the Union speech. Tell us why you wanted to do this survey.
Well, Jim, as you know, we've done these types of surveys for some time now, probably close to going on 3 years now, and Sage focuses on serving small businesses, small to medium-sized businesses, providing financial management solutions to them to help them run their business. And we love small businesses. We quite frankly view it as our obligation, if you will, to make sure that their voices are heard, to understand what keeps them up at night, and to, as you, be an advocate for small businesses out there, particularly given the landscape that we're in right now.
And so you conducted the survey because you wanted to know what they thought. Why did you choose this particular angle? Why did you choose to ask your questions based on what the president's proposals were for small business?
Well, I mean, there's been, as we know over the course of the last couple of years, there's been a lot of talk out there about what can the government do to help small businesses, because we all know how important they are. They generate more jobs than any other segment out there. They're very crucial to the lifeblood of our economy. And we thought, after hearing the State of the Union address, well, let's go out and find out what they think about some of the ideas, not necessarily specific bills or legislation that was proposed, but some of the ideas that were presented to get their view on what they thought was interesting, what would help them going forward.
Well, and you did that, and you polled hundreds of small business owners, and you asked them about things like about the president's proposals on tax relief for small businesses, lifting regulations, job tax breaks, the payroll tax cut. That was a big part, keeping that down, reducing red tape for construction, trade agreement enforcements, and preventing people from violating those things. Job training is another one, and then, of course, the energy situation. Those were all categories that you asked your folks about, right?
That's right. That's right. And, and we also wanted to know, too, what's going to hinder, not only what was their interest in what was said in the State of the Union, but also what do they feel their top issues are going forward that's going to hinder their growth in their business in the next year, and then also what are they likely to do? What's going to be their behavior? Because we're seeing really the same thing that we've seen in other surveys over the last, I would say, 2 years. That although it does feel like that they're beginning to pick up a bit, they're beginning to stabilize is probably the best word for me to use in terms of their business growth. But they're cautiously optimistic. I love to use that word because they're really waiting to see what's going to happen. Obviously the national debt is a concern, but this survey was more focused on them, their business, what's going to help them grow, and what did they want the government to be doing.
Well, one thing that they told you when you asked them what are they likely to do this year to grow their business, almost 6 out of 10 said seek new markets. I thought that was good news.
Absolutely. In fact, what was really interesting in that is that it really felt like that they were turning the corner, potentially maybe looking at this as the new norm that they've got to live within, and looking at how are they going to start growing their business within this environment. And seeking new markets was at the top, investing in sales and marketing. But the number 3, as you know, which was still right up there at the top, was focusing on cost containment. Yeah. 40% said they're still really tightly managing their business.
Still working on that, and of course they need to continue to focus on holding costs down, but we need them to start investing too, don't we? And hiring more people. Connie, hold on to that thought, folks. We'll come back. We're going to get into the details of some of what the president proposed for small businesses in his State of the Union speech, and what the respondents to the SAGE survey, what they told them about how they felt about those things. 20 till. Stay with us. I'm Jim Blasingame. We'll be right back.
Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., intended for the private use of our audience. Except as otherwise provided by copyright law, all other copying, redistribution, or publication without prior written consent is prohibited. All rights reserved.